What's up, guys? It's Simon. So today, this week rather, I finally caught up to week 5 of the YouTube Pagan Challenge. This is what does the Wheel of the Year mean to you? So I'm gonna go over each Sabbat and tell you guys what that means to me. There will be a side video that follows after this, so stay tuned for that. So, in my practice, I do associate Samhain as the witch's new year. So I begin my wheel on the first day of Samhain, which is the 29th for me. So, it's October 29th to 31st. Those are my 3 days of Samhain, and that equates to the Olhem calendar, excuse me, as read 1st through 3rd. And so I've kind of read this to you before in my first YouTube Pagan Challenge video, which was Samhain, but I'll just go over it again, just for easy flow. So Samhain is the witch's new year. It is the final harvest, and when all of nature dies and goes through transformation to be reborn. This is also the first time when the veil to the other world is at its thinnest, allowing communication between the spirits and witch to be more coherent. So, the correspondences that I have for Samhain are black and orange patchouli, dandelion puff, which is the white fluffy orb, pumpkin, pomegranate, black obsidian, eye walls, which is a rune from the Elder Futhark. I don't know what they're called, the Elder Futhark runes, and cauldron and Hecate. As I've said multiple times, Hecate, I have Sabbat deities, rather a deity for each Sabbat, and Hecate is my Samhain goddess. And so this is, each Sabbat I do a salutation. So that's kind of to say goodbye to the old and welcome in the new. I also have certain activities for each Sabbat, and I will typically have some sort of ritual for each Sabbat as well. And so for the first day of Samhain, the activities are make a garden dolly out of sticks, nuts, berries, grass, etc. for Hecate to embody and protect your garden throughout the winter. This is different than, it's kind of like my take of a corn dolly, only it's not using corn husk because most people wouldn't grow corn in their garden. So it's more of a nature dolly that she will inhabit. That's one of the ways I work with my deities in the Sabbat, is in regards to this. Samhain, I use her in that sense. Then I say break some bread for the birds and as a gratitude to nature. Now, this I'm actually going to switch to bird seed because it's not safe for birds to be consuming bread because it can swell up and make them sick or kill them. For the second day, this is honoring the animals. So the first one was for the final harvest. This day is for honoring the animals, both living and dead. Mostly the dead ones, though. So you would leave a gratitude outside for the animals. This is something that you want, as that the animals could consume that would be safe. So you could put dog food, cat food, bird seed again, peanuts, corn kernels, stuff like that. Then you could also put, if you have an ancestor altar or Day of the Dead altar or whatever it is, you can put out a little something on there for the deceased animals. This is also a time where I'll make my ancestor oil. If I'm out of it, I'll make some more. And then on the last day, tell family stories. This is where you honor your ancestors. You leave gratitudes outside for the passing spirits. That could be anything from like a piece of fruit. This year I left an apple. I will also usually light my novena candle for the spirits to see a guiding light to the offering and know that they're respected and honored in this place. And then you could also leave a gratitude on your altar for your ancestors as well. This is also the time where I'll make some soul cakes. This is also where, if I want to do any helping spirits pass over, I will make my, oh, what do I call it? I can't think of what I call it right now, but I make a candle that is anointed and prepared to helping open the door safely for me and them so they can pass on, and then when I extinguish the candle, the door is closed and all ties are cut so that way nothing comes home. Then we have Yule, which is the winter solstice. It is the longest night of the year before the sun's and moon's power are reborn. Dagda and Danu have regenerated and grow stronger with each passing day. So, as you can tell, that's a little different from what may be the norm. I don't believe that deity dies, period, male or female. I do believe in transcendence. However, I believe that both transcend at the same time. I don't believe that only the god dies and the goddess lives on. That's just not what resonates for me, so I don't work that way. And Dagda and Danu are the names that I use for the primal/primordial mother and father. This is technically it's a one-day celebration, but I do observances for 12 days. But the reason why I call it a one-day celebration is because I do the main stuff on December 20th, and I'll do stuff leading up to it, and you'll understand in a minute. Correspondences are red and green, holly, poinsettia, pine, fig, unakite, esau, which is another elder Futhark rune, candle, and canunos. I don't think I mentioned this in the last one, but magical workings I do are enchantments, as in Yule, banishments, candle divination, collecting snow and ice, making a snow guardian, and performing spells with snow or ice. Again, I have my salutation, and then I have these 12 days of Yule. I'm going to turn it around so I can see better. Oh wow, that's much easier. So, I'm going to... never mind. I'm gonna go over just a brief thing of what each one is. When I get into the Yule portion of this tag, I'll put some video links in there, and I'll obviously go in much more detail. So this is the 12-day thing, starting on the 15th, which is I believe the 9th of December. 9th or 8th. I'm pretty sure it's the 9th though. So day 1 is industriousness. That's the theme I focus on. Day 2 is justice. Day 3 is courage. Day 4 is generosity. Day 5 is hospitality. Day 6 is moderation. Day 7 is community. Day 8 is individuality. Day 9 is truth. Day 10 is steadfastness. Day 11 is loyalty. And day 12 is wisdom. Some activities I do is I make Yule decorations, decorate a Yule tree, make and burn a Yule log, sing Yuletide carols, and give Yuletide gifts. So I'm going to go over to the symbol of the Yule tree, and how I go about decorating the Yule tree. So on day 3 out of the 12 days of Yule, that is, so I start on roughly December 9th, and then on December 11th, I bring in a Christmas tree, and this is equivalent to insemination or sexual intercourse. Because you have the doorway being representing the vagina, and the tree representing the penis. This is also representative to hibernation, because the pine tree can represent the bear or any other wildlife, and the doorway representing the cave or any opening that is meant to be warm and protective during the winter. Day 6, which is the 14th of December, I make and put on the garland, which represents the umbilical cord, and this is also the point when the woman is pregnant at the time. So this would consist of primarily cranberries for that red blood color, and also popcorn to represent skin and the nutrients being put in through the umbilical cord from mother consuming foods and then it traveling from the stomach. I believe it's from the stomach to the umbilical cord to the embryo. Day 9 is you make Yule ornaments. This is equivalent to the baby shower. Ornaments being like the presents that are being made for the tree. In this case, the tree is representing the embryo. As you can see, I'm doing more of a sex slash baby representation rather than the hibernation. Day 12 is you decorate the Yule tree. So at this point, you will put any last minute ornaments on there. So typically on day 9, I would put apples and any dried oranges or even fresh oranges on there to represent the sun, and the apples to represent hearts, so life force energy. And those would be the baby shower gifts. Then the decorating the rest of the tree would be me putting on the star, putting on candles, if I want to, any pine cones, and then all the salt dough ornaments that I made on day 9. So then we go into Imbolc. This is the Feast of Lights. It is when the earth gets cleansed both spiritually and physically through the snow and ice. This is the time to make your candles that you used up at Yule. Candle making honors both the earth and the light energy. Another name is Candlemas. Magical workings are cleansing your sacred space / altar, banishments, enchantments, collecting snow and ice, spiritual cleansing, and perform a spell with snow and ice. Correspondents are red and white, sage, Dutch crocus, juniper, raisins, citrine, cane walls, besom, and brigitte. Again, the salutation. Then I do a besom sweeping ritual, and I have yet to fill out my snow and ice magic page. And then another thing that I typically do is a cicada banishment. I don't have any activities yet for that. Some of these Sabbat pages I haven't worked on yet, so I won't be able to go over everything through you from my book. But, yeah, so we'll work on as we go along. Ostara is the spring equinox. It is the first of the 2 days of perfect harmony. This is when light equals night, but after which the days grow strong and... Oh, Robin brings his harmonic song. This is a good time to set your intentions for the coming year. So, magical workings are perform a garden blessing, perform an egg planting ritual for fertility and protection, renew the protection on your house altar, etc. Perform rituals for positive new beginnings and prosperity. So, correspondences are pink and green, honeysuckle, magnolia, birch, blackberry, clear quartz, woonyo, bell, and bronwyn. Again, the salutation. I have something for gardening by the moon. I'm gonna put something for decorating eggs. I can't remember what it's called, but there is a Czech word. It begins with a P, and I'm gonna write that in there. Then I'm gonna put a household protection bottle spell in there, and I don't have activities for that, but then you could probably do something for children like egg hunting, maybe go rabbit searching. So I can't think of what the word is, but I'm looking for, like, let's try and see signs of fertility with the rabbits, look for robins, and another thing to do is look for wild eggshells that have fallen, because those are fun to harvest, and you can use those to decorate your altar. So then we're at Beltane, which is the dance of flames. It is when the earth screams with passion and fertility. This is the prime time for a bonfire or a cauldron fire. Bellfires honor the earth's fertility. Another name is May Day. Colors, the correspondences are red and orange, rosemary, dandelion blossom, which is the yellow parts, the ones that you'll put under your chin, willow, grapefruit, carnelian, monoz, mortar and pestle, and Hermes. Again, salutation. The hand fasting is one of the things I've written in here because this is a prime time for hand fastings, which are pagan weddings. I'm going to have something here for the Abundance Garden. I have a little page talking about the Beltane bonfire. And mentioning about taking a piece home to promote fertility throughout the summer months, and that it symbolizes the raging fertility among the earth. And then I have this cute little chant that says, "A time for music, a time for dance. The veil is thin, so take a glance. A time for song, a time for play. The winter days are far away. Yay!" And don't have activities yet for this, but maybe you could do something like maybe another, since the veil is thin again during this time, maybe you could do another ancestor honoring or interaction. Again, look for fertility symbols, maybe in this case with bigger wildlife like deer is a good example. Look at how the plants are. So Lisa, I don't have this page really written yet, so I can't really read much to you, but this is the summer solstice. This is a prime time for the Fae, so you could do a lot of fairy magic during this time. This is also another prime time for marriages. Correspondences are pink and yellow, thyme, lavender, tillandsia, which is an air plant, orange, rose quartz. Oh, I don't have the rune written here. Wand, and Eros or Cupid. I don't have anything else written for the sabbats right now, so if you give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, so I just realized that the rune for Letha is Sowilo, and then we go into Lammas. This is the first harvest. So this is going to be for the grains and for the fruit. And, yeah, so, some people associate corn. For me, the grains are wheat, oat, barley, things of that nature. The ones that are used to make bread. And obviously apples and any other first fruits. So the correspondences for, lammas are cinnamon, heather, wheat and oats, apples, green and brown, Demeter, Yara, and brown jasper. And the tool is the athame / the bowline, depending on if you only use one or the other, or both. You can incorporate both as well. And let's see, what could be some activities? Last year you put out bird seed for Samhain, so it's possible that some actually planted and have grown at this point, so you may want to try and harvest some of those. I actually had some wild barley grow in the backyard under a tree from the birdseed that was, that fell out of the bird feeder. So you can try and harvest that. That's really cool and fun. Then you can use it to make, I call him Bob Barley, if you can see the reference there. But you can use him to make John Barleycorn, I think it is, which is a little doll that you kind of use as the Wicker Man ritual. That can be, another thing is the Warrior's Meditation, or you can even do, like, something in regards to Shield Maidens. Next is Mabon. This is the second day of perfect harmony where night equals light and the nights grow strong and, excuse me, Crow brings his song. That's probably something I'm going to write, so that way it's similar to the Ostara one. So correspondences are brown and yellow, corn, chrysanthemum, sandalwood, grapes, Dionysus, Thallgauze, I think it's pronounced, and smoky quartz. And the tool is chalice, or goblet, or horn, whatever that drinking device you have. For me, it's the chalice. So, that is how. Well, let's go over some of the activities before I leave. Let's see, you can make wine, you can make your magical inks with some berries. What else can you do? This is another good time to make harvest. This is where, more hardier fruits are harvested. So this is, not necessarily gourds and pumpkins, but, your squash and, your potatoes and other root vegetables. You definitely want to get the root vegetables in, because the ground's going to start getting colder and then they will get frost, and that's not good. This is also the time where the corn is collected. I live in an area where corn is grown and collected, so that's why I associate corn with Mabon, because it's actually harvested literally around the time of Mabon. So I kind of find that pretty cool. I sometimes will snag a couple of cobs, or maybe several, just to have on hand. I won't be doing that this year. Well, actually, I will, because I need to get some more corn kernels. And this year they rotated the crops and they actually did soybeans where the corn crops were. So this coming year they'll be putting corn back there, I'm assuming. But yeah. So that's my take on the wheel year. As I said earlier, there is going to be a side video, so stay tuned for that. And as always, thank you for watching, and blessed be my dear witchlings.